Om Shanti. Today in the Murli, Baba says that Baba has come to teach the methods that will make us go and rule the kingdom in the new world. Yes, and Baba is teaching us all the methods of how to earn an income. And you know, sometimes when we think about whether waking up early, remembering Baba in Amrit Vela, observing purity, taking care of our food and drishti and everything so that it is pure, and doing Seva. Sometimes, it makes us feel like how can only this much make us go to heaven? Yes, but then if you think about it, the way to everything is simple. You see, you want to become a doctor, you have to read 10-15 books. That's it. Just by reading, maybe not 15, 20 or 25, but that's it. You read them, you practice, you become a doctor. You read some 10-12 books, you become an engineer. You apply what you read in that, you become an engineer. It is very surprising how education can make you anything from anything. But the right knowledge is required. And there is so much knowledge in the world about how to become a doctor or an engineer or a teacher. But Baba says, here I am teaching you how to train yourself into becoming a deity. And what is the karma that you need to do? What are the habits? What are the sanskars that you need to create? How you need to burn your sins through remembrance of Baba. And Baba says, these are the methods I am teaching you so that you can become a ruler in the new kingdom. And we need to ask ourselves very deeply that we are the only people on earth who are aware of these methods. Yes, nobody knows how to become a soul and remember Baba. It is we children who know these methods. And then when we know these methods, how much attention do we pay to them? Yes, because you will receive according to not what you know, but according to what you do. Jo karega so paega. Yes, so we know how powerful Amrit Vela is, and we have understood how powerful and how life-changing meditating at Amrit Vela can be. But do we do that? How many of you wake up at Amrit Vela every day and remember Baba? So if you do, then you understand that the power of Amrit Vela, you understand how Amrit Vela fills you with the virtues and powers that you need throughout the day. And then there is not just waking and remembering Baba, but also remembering Baba as he is, what he says, and as he looks at me. Yes, so you can sit in Amrit Vela and say, I can. You can sit in Amrit Vela and say, I am. Yes, so I am is more powerful than I can. Yes, so it depends on how much you understand what Baba is telling and how much you do your Amrit Vela according to that. I will tell you one example. I've given it earlier also. So there was this brother and he told me, somebody told me to always tell this to myself that I am rich. Yes, and my wealth is growing and I'm getting richer. And he said, Didi, I practiced it and I really got rich. So my business flourished, I got rich. And then he said, Didi, now I understand I'm very stressed. I want peace. So I said, now you say I'm peaceful. Then he laughed and he said, is it that simple? So I said, yes, if growing rich is simple, then growing peaceful is also very simple. But the thing is, nobody taught us to sit in the awareness that I am peaceful. Everybody says, I want peace, I want happiness, but I am happy, I am peaceful, I am pure. And then understanding that Baba is the ocean of purity, peace, and happiness. And then what is Baba like? What is purity like? What is peace like? What is happiness like? And what is Baba like? And when you sit in the awareness of what Baba is like, how he looks, how he feels, what is that vibration, that resonance of purity, and how it makes you feel. And then when you sit as his child in his image and copy that, you just copy that vibration onto yourself and you sit in the awareness that I'm as peaceful as Baba, I'm as pure as Baba. You forget the awareness of this body conscious world and just sit like Baba before Baba. Then you start becoming like Baba. Just like Baba has such a big heart, Baba doesn't do us and them. Baba is universal in his attitude. And if I also sit like Baba's child and in the awareness that this whole humanity is Baba's children and my brothers and sisters, if we just practice this, then it would elevate our awareness so much. And Baba is teaching us so many methods. It is not just this method, but every method. Like Baba says, when you interact with someone, just maintain this drishti that this one is a soul. And as soon as you forget that this is a soul and you become body conscious in your vision, then what they do, what they speak, starts influencing you. So Baba says that at every step, Baba is teaching us the method. And the method is yoga, the method is purity. And Baba says, if you are not observing purity of conduct, whether it be celibacy, whether it be the dharana of pure food that Baba has given us, then Baba says, the influence of the world will be there on you. So purity is like that insulant, that which insulates you from the ill effects of the negative vibrations around. And if you don't take care of your purity, then the negative vibrations of the world will start influencing you. So Baba has given us these directions, these methods, and then Baba has given us a lot of direction about Seva in the Murli today. We will go to that. But first I would like to talk about this one thing that Baba says today. So Baba tells us the methods through which we can go to heaven, and then Baba says, by not following Shrimat, you continue to make mistakes. By following Shrimat, your mercury of happiness will rise. The soul experiences super sensuous joy, So he becomes very happy. Now we must understand that mistake. Baba says, when we don't follow Shrimat, we make mistakes. And what do mistakes do? Mistakes take away our happiness. Yes? So the soul is by design happy. So I don't need to do something to be happy. So I am happy by design. Yes? But the soul by design is also on the karmic field. Yes? So you don't need to do anything to be happy. You only need to do everything in alignment with your nature. So when we do everything, every karma, in alignment with our nature of purity, of knowledge, of peace, of love, then that karma makes us stay in our original state of happiness. And when we act, because you see, we are on the Karam Kshetra, so we don't have a choice of not acting. So action is a permanent aspect of being on this karmic field. In this Karam Kshetra, in this stage, whether we are conscious or unconscious, whether we are aware or not aware, we are always performing action. Yes, the action of seeing, the action of thinking, the action of remembering, all these actions are continuously being performed. And whenever we are not in our state of purity, then we perform actions which take away our happiness. Yes, and this is why, in Satyug, you do actions which don't give happiness or take away happiness. That is called akarma. So whenever you are in Satyug and you are acting out of your original nature, then you stay in happiness. Because actions give happiness or take away happiness according to the consciousness in which they are performed. Yes, and when the soul is in its original consciousness, then you are happy and you keep performing action anyway. Now, Baba says that when you make a mistake, it takes away your happiness. And when do you make a mistake? When you don't follow Shrimat. Now you see, we are all very weaned away from our original nature. So we have created sanskars which are very different from our original state in the last 63 births. Yes, so 63 births we have been doing karma in body consciousness, and now our stage is very different from our original state. It is very away from our original stage. Now Baba says, in order to again come back and for one day to move in that state or stay in that stage of soul consciousness, you need to follow Shrimat. And Shrimat is a lot of things, but let's just begin with Amrit Vela and remembering Baba as he is, and remembering ourselves as Baba says we are. So if I don't do Amrit Vela, yes, and if I don't want to make mistakes during the day, that's not possible. Because if I don't follow Shrimat, then I will make mistakes. Yes, being in a position to not make mistakes is the privilege of a powerful soul. Yes, even if you don't want to think negative or waste thoughts, you will think negative and waste thoughts if you're not powerful enough to do otherwise. So Baba says that whatever we are doing, it is our own thoughts, our own words, our own actions. Just check how many desperate actions you perform. Yes, there are so many actions which you perform during the day which you regret, where you lose your dignity. Yes, where you start speaking the language, I want peace, I want respect, I want love, I want happiness. So we create many thoughts out of this beggar state. We come into this state of being a beggar and speak words which we regret later. We do actions which we regret later. So, do you do all that? Yes? So, we do these things. We don't stay in Swaman and then we think thoughts, we speak words, we do actions which we regret a lot later. And they take away our happiness, the happiness of being in the glory of who you are. They take away all of that. And then they put you into remorse and regret and guilt and shame and so many other feelings. And Baba says that all of this you do because you don't follow Shrimat. And if we don't follow Shrimat, so the Shrimat is, I will tell you some broad Shrimat, like the subtle ones are there, but then let's start with the broad ones, the bigger ones or the gross ones. And the broad Shrimat is Amrit Vela, Murli, yes, revision of the Murli, taking 1 minute of silence every hour, going within, checking and changing, pure food, yes. And whenever we are coming into relationships, whenever we are coming into contact with other co-actors, souls, maintaining the awareness that this is a soul, this is a co-actor, and not coming into body consciousness. So these are some of the Shrimat that we need to take care every day, come what may. And Baba says, if you don't do that, then even if you don't want to, you will make mistakes. And then what do those mistakes do? They make you feel miserable. And nobody on earth has the power to make you feel miserable. It is your own mistakes that make you feel miserable. Yes, when even in the worst of situations and behaviors, even when there are people around you who are not being themselves or who are not treating you with respect or dignity, it is your own thoughts that you create in response to their behaviors that takes away your happiness. It is not what they do, but it is what you do to yourself in response to what they do, not to you, but as they are. Yes, so nobody does anything to you. You see something, you pick on that, and you do things to yourself. You speak words, you create thoughts, you engage in behaviors which takes away your happiness. And Baba says, if you take care of Shrimat, if you pay attention to your Amrit Vela, if you pay attention to listening to the Murli, not hearing the Murli, you hear with your ears, you listen with your heart. And when you really listen to the Murli, not like what Baba said today, but what Baba told me today. So when you keep your heart open and connected with Baba and just absorb what Baba is trying to tell you into your ears very privately through the Murli, then that will fill you with a lot of, capacity to find your direction throughout the day. Because Baba is empowering the buddhi, and the buddhi will act like your GPS, and all through the day you will be guided into what to think, what not to think, where to focus, where not to focus. So this Amrit Vela, Murli, and then when you come into contact, maintaining that awareness, that detachment. Yes, it's a very mental thing. It's a stance that you take on the inside, which insulates you from not getting affected by another person's behavior. So when you just hold into your awareness that you are a soul and the other one with you is a soul, and they are playing their role, and you are not caught up in your physical relationship with them, or you are not in the awareness of their body or their looks or anything else, you are not influenced by all of them, then you will be in a position where they will not be able to unsettle you inside. So, and then food. Food is very important, because as is the food, so is the mind. So Baba says these are the Shrimat. And if you take care of the Shrimat, you will not make mistakes. And if you don't take care of the Shrimat, that means you want to make mistakes. Yes, because the intention is not seen by what you say, but the intention is seen by what you do. So even if you say, I don't want to make mistakes, if you are not gearing yourself up to be in a place where you don't make mistakes, then you will make mistakes. That's the way it's going to be. So your actions must show that you don't want to make mistakes. And if you don't want to make mistakes, and I will tell you one thing, so this mistakes is a vicious cycle. So one day you make mistakes, it takes away your happiness and it makes your head heavy. And then the first thought you have is, let me sleep and not do Amrit Vela. Yes, and then you think that you will be in a better position to not make mistakes by not doing Amrit Vela. But that's how Maya has tricked you into making mistakes. So if you don't want to do the same thing today, wake up. Put 10 alarms, pinch yourself hard, beat yourself up, wake up. Yes, and sit in Baba's remembrance and fill yourself with this, with this awareness that God has come from the soul world and is teaching me, and I am a pure soul. Let me just open my third eye and see who I am. Sit in this light of knowledge that is flowing from Baba to me, and just sit in that awareness and remind yourself of who you are, who your parent is. Do this early in the morning, and then fill your buddhi with Baba's powerful wisdom through the Murli, and take care to maintain your spiritual distance and maintain your purity of food and everything if you want to not make mistakes. So this is something. And then today Baba talks about all-round service. So Baba says children should do all-round service. So there are many words that Baba uses for Seva today. All-round service. Then Baba says you should be constantly present for any type of service. Okay, so these are the three words that Baba uses for Seva. Now, just like I told you that in Satyug there is akarma. So whatever you do, you stay in happiness. because you do it in your original state. But now you have to do good karma to experience happiness. Yes, and Seva is good karma. And Baba says, if you want to be happy, if you want to become like Mama and Baba, if you want to go to that world of happiness, then you do Seva. Now, what is Seva? We have to first understand that. So, Seva is bringing a soul closer to Baba and to their original quality. Yes, making a soul self-aware and bringing them closer to Baba so that through Baba they recognize their destiny, they recognize their qualities. That is Seva. So, making the soul come nearer to that position of peace and happiness is Seva. Or making a soul aware of that purity is Seva. Now, this Seva is not like, just knowing Seva is doing Seva. Because you see that all of you who are sitting here, some are sitting here for the last 10 years, 20 years. Some are sitting here for the last 3 months, 5 months, 7 months. But all of us understand that it's not easy to come closer to ourselves and Baba, because there is also Maya doing a lot of, its work in and around us. So when we talk about spiritual seva is a very sustained activity. So Baba has created this whole structure of these centers, murli, classes, yes, spiritual support to each other, getting together each morning, studying the study together. All of this structure has been created because seva is not done by just thinking about seva. So it's a very sustained thing. And this whole yajna, this whole infrastructure that has been created, which involves dedicated members who dedicate their life to the seva, and it involves this whole, structures of the centers and institutions and everything. This requires 3 main things. It requires physical energy, it requires spiritual purity, and then it requires money. And it also requires your power of relationships. So there are 4 types of seva: tan, man, dhan, and sambandh. Yes, so Baba says that this whole seva requires these 4 things. It requires physical energy. So there's a lot of physical work to be done. So everything requires physical labor, whether it is the voice or the physical energy or keeping the place clean or keeping the place operational, cooking of food, everything requires physical energy. So when we contribute our physical energy to yajna seva, that's called tan seva. Then mansa, because you see that what differentiates a household from a center? It's the vibrations. And who creates those vibrations? It is the souls who are yog-yukt who create that vibration. So the world will change from Kalyug to Satyug through our collective consciousness. And Baba says we have to surrender our mind to Baba. So staying in the consciousness in which Baba stays, keeping up the attitude that Baba keeps up, thinking the thoughts that Baba thinks. That's how you contribute to Mansa Seva. And then money, because obviously the maintaining of this whole yajna, the food, the clothing, the infrastructure, rent, electricity, internet bill, everything requires money. So when we contribute our bit to taking care of the expenses, that is Dhan Seva. And then Sampark Sambandh Se Seva. When there are souls in and around us who we can initiate and who we can introduce to this new knowledge. Introducing to knowledge doesn't mean taking the responsibility of giving the whole knowledge, because that's a very sustained thing and no soul can do it on its own. But giving them the introduction of the course, or telling them that this course is happening, or bringing them to a point where they undertake the foundation course and then take a choice to continue, that we can do through the power of relationships. And so Baba says this is Seva. And Baba says every soul should do all-round Seva. Because you see, somebody thinks, I am doing Mansa Seva, but then there is a requirement for every kind of Seva. So Baba says, every soul should do their bit of every Seva. So Tan Seva, Man, Dhan, Sambandh, everything, every soul has to do. And Baba says, you have to be an all-round serviceable soul. Don't think that you just want to limit yourself to one Seva. And Baba gives the example of Mama and Baba. So you see that I will narrate one example from Jagdish Bhai Sahab's experiences. And Jagdish Bhai said that when he went to Madhuban, to Mount Abu for the first time, the first scene he saw was Brahma Baba had an instrument in his hand and he was breaking the stones. So, there was some construction going on and Brahma Baba was putting in that physical labor of, breaking those stones with that axe or whatever it was. And then Brahma Baba, when he saw Brahma Baba doing that, he had this thought that you see, the Adi Pita, yes, the Adi Pita is doing such physical labor himself. And do you think that Brahma Baba didn't have children who could do it for him? He had, everybody was there. He didn't need to do it himself. But this idea of all-round service. So Baba says, when you want to be an all-round ruler, yes, then do all-round service. You want to rule the whole world in Satyug, you have to do every Seva. Never think that this is for another one. So I did so much, let another one do. If you do that, it is like giving them the chance to go ahead of you. Yes? Then it also doesn't mean you snatch somebody's Seva and do it. So Baba says, you create Seva. You see, there is so much Seva that each one of us should do all four kinds of Seva. And we don't need to block each other's way or, snatch anything from each other. There is so much Seva because this world transformation has to take place. So everyone has enough opportunity for Seva. And Baba says, we should all focus on this all-round Seva. And then there are these two words that Baba says, being constantly available for every type of Seva. Yes, now let me talk about this constant availability. So, first what we talked about Seva is about the willingness of Seva. Yes. So we talked about being willing to do all kind of Seva. Because willingness is where body consciousness stops us. So, Maya is very smart. Maya will tell you, why me? Yes. So, when I remember when we were little and there was this ceremony in the school where we had to plant trees, mango trees. So there were some children who said, we want to play and not plant trees because when these trees grow, we will not be here to eat the fruit. Yes, so why should we plant trees for future? So it is so, and it was interesting because while we were in school, those trees bore fruits and we ate those fruits also. So it was interesting how we thought that somebody else would eat the fruit, but only we ate the fruit. And Baba says that when you start to do anything, Maya will bring you into this mine and theirs and us and them. And then Maya will make you very narrow-minded and it will stop you from having a bigger heart. And that is all body consciousness. And Baba says, Maya takes away your willingness to do Seva. Yes. So be wary of body consciousness and create and cultivate this willingness to do Seva by understanding how Seva is the karma that will make you, have the entitlement to a position in heaven. So that is something that one has to take care. And the second thing is ability to do Seva. Because it is not like if you intend to do Seva, you can. You must also have the ability. So when Baba says being constantly present for Seva, that's an aspect of ability. Yes. So just think about this one Seva of standing on the door and smiling. So, you are given a Seva to just stand on the door and welcome everyone who is coming in. So, if I just wake you from your sleep at 12 and tell you there is a party of, 50 children of Baba coming, and to smile and welcome them, you will say, I'm so sleepy, I can't smile and welcome anybody right now. So you also need this ability to do Seva. So, this ability to sit in peace, this ability to talk sweetly, this ability to create a peaceful atmosphere, this ability to be ready for Dhan Seva whenever the Yajna requires it. And for that, you need to have this attention that my services can be required anytime. So let me have a stock always. Yes, a stock is maintained by those who are aware that as an instrument of Baba, my services can be required anytime. So maintaining a stock of energy, a stock of power, spiritual powers, virtues, maintaining a stock of dhan, money, which can be used for Seva, keeping people in such loving contact that you can anytime bring them into Baba's knowledge. All this is about your ability to serve all the time. And most important is your ability to be filled with spiritual powers and virtues all the time. Because if you don't have the spiritual power and virtues, you will fail when there is Seva to be done through you. So these are the points on which Baba asks us to pay attention to today. And Baba says, A, being an all-round Sevadhari, and B, being in a position where you're constantly available for Seva. Om Shanti.